Good morning, and welcome to Overcast Winnipeg. I haven't even checked the sunrise yet, so I don't know if it's good or bad. I'll probably be dubbing something in right now. That's kind of my style. On the other hand, maybe it was really nice, and I'll say later on we're going to have it at the end of today's episode. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I was doing other stuff. Now, speaking of doing other stuff, I was checking my comments this morning, and one of the viewers was talking about Barnacle Bill, and he was talking about how tall would Barnacle Bill be. And okay, so I said that maybe what I should do is measure him, and that's what I'm going to do. So I got my caliper here, and I'm all ready to. Well, I guess I wasn't all ready. I didn't have this guy laying here where he's going to be. We'll put the macro lens on for this to get it, so you can see I do my best. But anyways, I thought, hey, my plywood. I don't think you can see it. It's just right behind me. It's too long to fit anywhere else, so it's half in this room and half in the hallway. And anyway, I thought I'll measure it and just see how thick is that 3/4 inch plywood. So if it's 3/4 of an inch thick, if you type in 3/4 inch plywood at Home Depot, this is what they show you. And but then in the fine print it'll say that it's in millimeters. So I measured it. It should be 750 thousandths of an inch thick if it's 3/4 of an inch, but it's not. No matter where I measure it, I can only measure on the edge, but the best I can get is 615 thousandths. Well, I think that's closer to 5/8. Anyway, I've ranted on this before. The lumber industry is crooked. They're misleading. They're worse than some of those thumbnails you see on YouTube of airplanes crashing, and then you try to see it, and there's going to be nothing like that. Anyway, not that I look for airplane crashing, but these thumbnails, they catch your eye. They really catch your eye, but they're terribly, terribly misleading, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. At least when I have a thumbnail, it's generally a snapshot of what is going to be in the. Anyway, yeah, and I remember about a year or two ago, maybe longer, I was talking about you buy a 2x4 by 8 foot, and you'll get it home, and of course it's only 3.5 inches the wide way, and 1.5 inches the other way. It's not 2 inches. It's not 4 inches. It'll be 8 feet long. And then if you question them on it, they'll say, well, that's because when it ran through the planer, it planed it down. It was originally 2x4. Well, my complaint was, well, then why don't you just call it a 30 inch by 30 inch by 100 foot? Because that's what it was when it was a tree, Okay. I got that out of my system, sorta, but it'll probably reoccur next time I go to buy lumber. Okay. Let's recompose here, and I'm going to spray today. That's what I'm planning to do. I'm going to spray these, but I'm not going to put them on until right near the end. It'll be one of the last things I do. I want to be able to lay the ship over on its side and practically lay these in place and very gently, and this little bracket that's right on the top of the wishbone. Oh, a bird just hit my window. That's on the top of the wishbone. I probably won't glue it to the side. I'll just have it sort of resting against the side with its two little prongs, and it'll have the illusion of being fastened there. And that's. You can see that the platform here can easily support everything. So when it gets glued on the edge of the gunnel here, or a little further down, I guess, that'll be fine. Yeah. So we'll paint them today, but I won't put them on. But in the meantime, once again, let's see if we can grab our macro lens here without knocking anything over this time. put this here. And yeah, this I can't get over how big this model table is. It goes another two and a half feet that you can't see behind you. Okay, let's recompose and measure Barnacle Bill, multiply him by 200, and see how tall he is to scale. Okay, I've got the caliper zeroed here. Now, careful, Ron, don't go breaking the head off this one too. Okay, and we're going to very gently here now try and go from the bottom of his feet to the top of his little sailor hat here. Very gently now, don't go squashing it. You just want to stop as soon as you feel resistance. And that's it. Okay. Now, what do we got here? Okay. 343.5 thousandths. Or 3,435 ten-thousandths. Okay, we don't need to be that accurate. Okay, let's multiply this out by 200 and see what we got in inches. It should be around, if he's 6 feet tall, then it should be around, it should say 72. Where's my calculator? I forgot to bring it. I'll get it. Okay, I've had this little calculator for a lot of years here. I think I probably had it in the kitchen too long. It's got food all over it. Anyway, here we go. Now, we can almost do that in our head, can't we? Well, some people can. It's not going to be 72, I can tell you that, just by looking at it. Okay, here we go. 0.3435 times 200 equals, okay, Barnacle Bill is 68.7 inches, almost 69 inches tall to the top of his hat. So he is a shorter sailor, you might say. Not that I have anything wrong against short people. Don't want to be getting myself into trouble here. And mind you, I'm shrinking myself. I used to be 6 foot tall, but I think I've shrunk almost, oh my goodness, it must be 1.5 inches now. Anyway, that brings to mind a story. I knew a fellow who went down into the States where they have the USS, I think it's the USS Constitution. It's an old sailing battleship from about 200 years ago, and they have it on display. And anyway, when he came back from his holidays, he came in and he told me, he says, he said, I came to the conclusion that there was nobody over 5 feet tall that manned that ship. He says, all the ceilings were low and the doorways were low, and at least that was his impression. Now, mind you, he was a shorter fellow himself, come to think of it. Okay, so Barnacle Bill is not 6 feet tall. So those wishbone things, if Barnacle Bill was hitting his head on him, well, a tall sailor sure would. Okay, let's set up to spray. Okay, finally I'm set up here, and we have our 77. I've just shaken it up in the paint shaker. Now, there isn't a whole lot in there, but I think there's more than enough. When I was watching Steve in the model shed, probably about a week ago now, in his last episode on his 1/200 scale Bismarck that he's doing, he was masking off a little section on the deck, and he masked off a very small amount. And I thought, oh my goodness, aren't you going to cover more than that? But then what he did was he went in and he went nice and gently, you might say, with the spray. Maybe 12 pounds is too much here. I was kind of worried about maybe the oscillation would... No, it doesn't seem to be. That seems to be all right. Okay, we'll zoom in a minute. Anyway, he went in nice and close and he just gently sprayed. And I thought, yeah, I remember experimenting around with that, going on over 4 years ago when I first got my Iowa. And I was doing some really, really fine, delicate, maybe only a millimeter wide, and just to see how gently I could go. And then I thought, I don't always have to go at everything like a bull in a china shop, like using this thing like a fire hose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a small amount here. Hopefully I'm not going to pick up any chunks. Okay, and we'll just put it in this cup here. This is the small cup. It shouldn't take very much. And now, get the lid back on here. I can't work and talk at the same time. I think I'm all ready to go. I got the air set about 12 pounds. I think I mentioned that. And we'll soon see if I have to increase it or not, because I'll spray a little right here. But what I'm going to do is zoom you in, and we're going to try and keep my work right directly underneath this thing. That's why I've got this. Now, I was going to mention that when we view the Iowa in the case, these pieces will be on this side of it, on the hull, and this will be the orientation of them. So I really don't need to be spraying from the back, or I just need to get the front, and where the tweezers grasp onto the platform. You know what? Maybe I should be zooming in here. Just let me recompose. Okay, hopefully this is going to work here. First, let's try our spray here. Yeah, that should work. Okay, we'll get our air going and we'll see what happens. Okay, let's quit while the quitting's good here. As near as I can see, I'm not seeing any photo etch glinting. I know that the helping hands kind of got in your way there. Just being super careful not to catch anything on anything and break it off. I think that this is going to be all right. We'll just let that dry. It's not going to need any more anywhere. Unless maybe on the very top on those brackets. Okay, no, I'm not seeing any photo etch anywhere. And we don't need to do underneath. And I did sort of come at it from the back. So yeah, let's just as I say, let's quit while the quitting's good here. Okay, I'm just gonna clean everything up here, and then I'll be back with you in a few moments. Well, probably about 20 minutes. That's usually about how long it takes me. Okay, we are all cleaned up with the airbrushes, and it looks like it's going to rain outside maybe. Very carefully here now. Now they are going to be viewed from this side. Although, mind you, I did do a pretty good job on the other side as it is, but the only place they're going to have to touch up is where the tweezer is. But that's not a big deal. Maybe I should move in a little bit and we can take a good look. I wonder which way they would view best from. Maybe we'll look at them from the side that we're going to be seeing them. Very, very gently here now. Don't accidentally break off our anything, because if I do, then I gotta glue it back on and repaint it. Whereas this way, I think if I'm careful, I shouldn't have to do anything like that except for, as I say, where the tweezer was. Okay, let's put the macro lens on and move in nice and close. Well, I guess we can't move in as close as we can because they won't fit in the field of view, will they? They're just too big. Okay, we'll move in a little bit anyway. Okay, I have changed my mind. I am not going to put the macro lens on. I think we're in close enough. If we get in too close, then it's not going to look good. Okay. Now, I think the next thing is railings. Yeah, I think we have to put on some railings, if I'm not mistaken. In other words, we can move on in the manual. Okay, I think everything is made. Make 6. Well, there they are. And these 3 pieces here, the E2s, that's these right here. They're the flotation baskets. Now for the smaller pieces of railing, although I don't know, a bigger piece like this, and especially a large piece like this, it could be that using Wesley's idea of dipping the piece into the bottom rail into a little puddle of glue. Yeah, I don't think that would work on these big ones. So I'll have to think of something else. Maybe I'll use the holder downer and just hold them in place and then just sort of, you know, tack it wherever it has to go. But these smaller ones, we should be able to take and well, you get the idea. We just dip the bottom rail and then carefully put it in place, and it just seems to sort of stand there. Especially the ones that are going to be bent at a bit of an angle. They will for sure. Although a lot of these, it looks like they are straight, but that's okay. They should stay right side up. And the ladders, well, when we recompose. Okay, I don't know if I want to call it quits for today or not. What do we got here? 12:41. Just let me go do some editing. Let's see how much stuff we got already and how much time we got left after that's done. I got up about 4:30 this morning. Right now I'm starting to feel kind of tired. I don't want to be doing this if I have to push myself. So, you know, I checked the radar, the weather radar, just maybe 15 minutes ago. And we got, looks like a lot of rain moving up from the south, from where our friend Kevin lives. And I think probably what's happened is he sent rain up here to try and put out our forest fires. I hope it works. Anyway, yeah, we had a smoke advisory already this morning, so there must be fires going on somewhere around here. Anyway, I'm going to call her quits for today. And this might be the first day I do not get out on two wheels. I should have gone out this morning when it was still dry, because I got a feeling it's not going to be. In fact, it looks like it's starting right now. Anyway, doesn't matter. This is not the Weather Channel, although sometimes it seems like it, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm going to call her quits, folks, and we'll go at this again tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we will see you tomorrow.